These are the stories
My little girl, she's changing lives just by being herself.
of organizations and people making a difference.
When you first tell someone about adaptive wheelchair boxing, it doesn't sound real.
And empowering others.
It saved my life. It saved my life.
Across Canada.
I scored my first goal in my first blind hockey game.
In our community.
My name is Jen Powley. I moved to Halifax 20 years ago. I fell in love with the city and decided to stay.
Jen Powley and her assistant Emma arrive at the Halifax waterfront for a little East Coast sunshine.
I have a compromised voice caused by my progressive multiple sclerosis. I was diagnosed when I was 15, and my voice started to get wonky around age 32. Someone who doesn't know my voice would just hear garble. For presentations, I speak to my assistants, who write down what I want to say on my computer, and then the computer speaks it aloud.
In her 2 decades in Halifax, Jen has been deeply engaged with the city's social issues as an urban planner, a journalist, and an author. Now she has her sights set on City Hall.
I'm running for councilor of District 7 in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I decided to run for council because I was not satisfied with the way Halifax was developing.
In her quest for a seat on City Council, Jen assembles a campaign team.
How are you, Jen says?
At her home, she and her partner Tom ELLIOT meet with the team over Zoom.
Halifax is a great city, but it needs to come to grips with certain realities that we have spent decades trying to ignore. These include environmental, economic, and social realities. I think District 7 faces numerous challenges. The one that is at the top depends on who you ask. I think the climate emergency affects all of us, so I have prioritized that issue.
District 7 covers most of downtown Halifax. It will be a challenging district for Jen to win, as she will be running against popular incumbent councilor Wei Mason. Always up for the challenge, Jen heads to a photography studio in the Halifax Seaport Market.
I think people should vote for me because I have a good track record of working for a variety of community members. I have a plan for significant climate action. I can make real progress on the issues affecting the community. 1/3 of Nova Scotians identify as having some sort of disability. 45% of seniors have a similar impairment. These people need their concerns understood.
I think I'm going to start with right here.
A professional photographer takes the headshot Jen will use during her campaign run.
Ice cream here for me,
I worked at the Ecology Action Centre, Nova Scotia's premier nonprofit environmental advocacy organization. I helped to found our HRM Alliance, a group of rural, suburban, and urban groups all working together to make HRM more livable and more sustainable. As my voice became weaker and I no longer had the ability to run meetings, I left my job at the Ecology Action Centre and went to become a writer. I enrolled in the Masters of Fine Art program at the University of King's College. I wrote a book about the reality of having a progressive illness.
After the photo shoot, Tom and Jen head back to the campaign trail.
There are advantages to being able to think differently, to be able to see things differently, and there are advantages for those of us who are able-bodied to be able to be confronted by thinking about things differently.
Tom and Jen met 12 years ago.
We met in the elevator. I asked him. Yes, Jen asked me how I was. And I only grunted. And I flirted hard, Jen says. Jen, I think, has a really odd sense of humor, but yeah, she makes me laugh a lot. That's something I love about spending time with you.
With only 2 months until Election Day, Jen's team swings into action. One of Jen's advisors is activist and writer JUDY HAIVEN.
I think people have never quite had a candidate like this before, and she's very impressive in every way. It's particularly good in the context of Nova Scotia, where for a long time people with disabilities were all but hidden away. And now we have a severely disabled candidate who can do the job, who has the training, is a town planner by profession, is a published writer by profession, and I think people are going to start to see the abilities people have. I'm excited that we raise enough money to have an excellent campaign, because it will mean, if we're successful, we can do all the leafleting and the postering and the television spots or anything else we want to do.
As Election Day looms, Jen hires campaign manager Murphy DAROCHA. The recent political science graduate posts lawn signs on District 7 homes.
Initially, my job was mainly focused on research, informing Jen about the different policy decisions happening at council currently, the hot ticket issues for the city. My job evolved into campaign manager, so coordinating the different aspects of the campaign, whether that's printing materials, sending out newsletters, press releases, social media, all of those different branches.
Because of her regressive multiple sclerosis, Jen has an assistant with her 24 hours a day. Abby WEISBROT has been with Jen for a little over a year.
I don't think Jen's disability has impacted her campaign any differently than it would impact any other thing in her life. She still has to do everything with the help of an assistant, so emails might take longer, filling out surveys might take longer, or she might have to repeat herself, but I don't think that's any different than what she's used to already, so it's more having other people adapt to that and get used to that. She's bringing a whole new voice to politics.
On the path to politics, Jen has one more important step to complete before becoming an official candidate. She has to submit a nomination package and will be interviewed by an election officer at Halifax City Hall. Jen arrives at City Hall with Tom, Abby, and Murphy along for support.
Jen keeps her mind on what she would like to achieve and then looks at ways to get there. It's not like what is, say, technocratically possible, what is acceptable, what is politically possible, but what do we need to achieve.
Jennifer Powley, candidate for District Number 7, you're up next.
Tom accompanies Jen into the room where nominee interviews take place. Jen's nomination package is reviewed by an officer to ensure it's accurate and complete. Murphy and Abby wait in the grand hall.
Jen would make a great counselor because she listens so well and she wants to know what your concerns are, and she will fight hard to make them a reality. And she's not afraid to do what's right and do the right thing.
Municipal politics is really where the most grassroots change and system change can happen. I think that she would provide a much needed perspective on council that hasn't been there before. We've never had a disabled councillor before, and it's just a different lens of thinking and doing things that I think would be very beneficial for Halifax Regional Council.
Having made it through the interview, Jen is now an official candidate for Halifax District 7. She proudly showcases her candidate button, and Abby takes a photo.
I think the public, at least the younger public, is happy that an able woman with a disability is running. I think the greatest challenge is convincing the older population, the ones most likely to actually vote, that I am able. People of an older demographic have been taught that people with disabilities are lesser. They aren't.
Our community will return after the break. We now return to our community. Jen Powley runs her campaign for Halifax District 7 City Councilor from her home. With less than a month until Election Day, she and her campaign team have a lot of work ahead of them.
More tweets, more reading the news, a couple of debates, more postering by my assistant, printing off more cards and setting up driveway signs.
I've got the postcards.
Campaign manager Murphy DAROCHA shows Jen freshly printed postcards.
Vote
for me? I hope people vote for me.
I
would vote for me. Is that what you said?
Oh,
yeah. That's
I would hope you would vote for you. So we have 4,000 postcards now, and we also have 200 posters. I'll be picking up the posters and postcards tomorrow, and then we can start handing them out pretty much immediately.
Murphy distributes postcards around Jen's apartment building.
COVID has affected everybody's campaign this time around. A lot of councillors, the incumbent councillors that would have relied on door knocking, are not doing that this year. But a lot of that has benefited Jen in terms of accessibility. Like, door knocking is not something you can do very easily in a wheelchair, especially given the Victorian homes in Halifax and all of the staircases and things like that. So it's really benefited Jen in that regard, but then it's also put more of an onus on social media. And so for the incumbent councillors who already had that sort of social media following and people subscribed to their newsletter, Jen has really sort of started from ground zero working on that base.
To make herself more visible and accessible to residents, Jen attends a rally to save the city's historic buildings. Peggy Cameron, owner of a renewable energy company, is also one of Jen's campaign advisors.
On the 17th of October, we have an opportunity to elect candidates who are strongly in favor of preserving not just heritage, but the built environment in Halifax.
When I look at Jen's platform, I see all the things that are the themes of society's concerns at this point. She's looking at affordability for housing. She's looking at climate change. She's looking at social equity. She's really hitting all of the points which I think anyone who's concerned about social justice would be interested in supporting or being concerned about. Personally, I'm involved in her campaign because I really support all of the things that Jen stands for. Jen is a woman of her word, and I think once she's made a commitment, she's completely tenacious and persistent, and she will not give up until she's moved the bar towards what her goal is.
I recognize that the way we deal with housing, land use, the environment, social equity, and community consultation all need to change. We no longer have the option just to build more. We need to figure out how to make what we have already built work differently. I'm not anti-development, I'm pro-climate. If a developer can figure out how to build without concrete, glass, and steel, or figure out how to reuse a building, I'm all for it.
Back at home, Abby and Jen get ready for a councillor's debate on Zoom.
I am a bit worried about the debates. I have told the organizers about my speech difficulty, and they have been very accommodating. Because of COVID, they are holding the debates via Zoom. This is a benefit for me. I will speak last on the impromptu questions during the debates, allowing me time to get my answers written out.
So hello everybody, welcome to the St. Mary's University Student Association Municipal Candidates Debate.
I have an extensive platform that touches on housing, land use, taxes, social equity, arts and culture, community input, and transparency.
The debate lasts a few hours, and Jen gets in a few good questions.
That doesn't really answer how. A vehicle with a disabled parking tag will get to get to their destination.
With Election Day just over a week away, Jen ramps up her campaign. She hosts a meet and greet outside the Halifax Central Library for anyone who wants to ask her questions.
My name is Jerry Post. I live in Halifax here in Jen's district. And, I'm an advocate for community development, sustainable community development. And that's my interest in supporting Jen. Her housing platform is excellent. It's the best amongst all the candidates in Halifax. It's well thought out, good researched, it's pragmatic. So I'm very, very impressed by Jen.
District 7 resident Patricia is undecided who to vote for and has come to the library to meet Jen.
She was very open, she was very transparent, and she also was willing to admit what she didn't know. And those three things really do impress me. I was just glad that I had the opportunity to ask her the questions and to actually see her. In my opinion, she does seem like she's a very solid candidate.
Our Community will return after the break. We now return to Our Community. After 2 months of campaigning, Election Day has finally arrived. Despite the cold, wind, and rain, residents get out to polling stations around Halifax Regional Municipality. For Murphy DAROCHA, today is bittersweet. She's learned a great deal as Jen's campaign manager and will miss their close working relationship.
Regardless of whether Jen wins or loses, I think that her campaign was important to bring awareness to the fact that campaigning for somebody with a disability is challenging, and there are certain accommodations that need to happen. And Jen is really kind of the first person to shed the light on what needs to happen for this to work for other people. There are certain barriers that exist, but you know, the more we have people like Jen in these positions, the more those barriers will be realized and hopefully dealt with.
Jen arrives with Tom and a few friends at a downtown hotel, where a polling station is set up for voters residing in District 7.
My greatest win thus far has been how well I feel I have answered the candidate surveys. I really enjoy meeting the people of my riding during the campaign run. It has not been a typical campaign run because of COVID.
When am I not proud of Jen? She has aspects of what she is doing, which I think they do have to do with a bravery. I do have to do with kind of putting herself out there in a way which is quite vulnerable, and I think that she makes me proud all the time. I don't know.
It's now in the hands of the voters to decide who they want for councillor of Halifax District 7. Because of the COVID pandemic and the restrictions on large parties, Jen has a small gathering at home and celebrates with the rest of her campaign team on Zoom.
I've been home.
I've been so busy.
1 month.
For 2 months now.
And now it's
just waiting.
Waiting.
The polls are officially closed, and the first few tables are counted.
Here we go. Wade Mason,
Wow.
Oh boy, okay. Wade Mason, 3,053. Jim Powley, 1,357. So 65% is winning by.
This is not what the team was hoping for. Even so, there is still a slim chance that Jen can catch up. While they wait for more votes to be counted, Jen is interviewed by a local radio station.
What was campaigning like for you?
Campaigning was eye-opening, and I liked hearing from the residents. I liked learning all the policies. But it showed me how many real problems there are and how few solutions are being proposed.
With half the tables now reported, the group confirms Wade Mason is too far ahead for Jen to win. It's disappointing news, but advisor JUDY HAIVEN reminds them that they ran an excellent campaign.
It's always hard for a first-timer to beat an incumbent. It's always hard. And maybe this is a trial run.
Losing to the incumbent does not end the party, and accolades for Jen start to pour in.
You're a true inspiration for so many people, and I trust that one way or another, this is just the beginning of things. Either way, thanks for dedicating your energy to making Halifax a better place for people to live.
When the final votes are tallied, Jen is the runner-up for District 7 in the 2020 Halifax municipal election.
The results are disappointing, but not surprising.
Jen brought attention to a lot of issues that other candidates didn't necessarily have on the radar, and hopefully it is going to create future conversations, and I'm sure that Jen will continue to be involved in these as well.
What I want people to know about Jen, what would I want people to know? Yeah. She is really, really, really funny. I was happy to see her joking in the way that she does in person with people publicly. I do think that Jen, she had so much support from people saying that they've never been as excited to vote for someone. And so obviously that connected with people. In 4 years, Maybe I should run in the next. Again then? Maybe I should run again then?
It was fun.
It was fun?
I hope I opened minds to what people with disabilities can accomplish. We are smart. We are funny. And we think in a different way than do most candidates for council. I knew going into this that it was going to be a tough fight to take District 7. But I think we made some great points and were instrumental in reminding the residents of District 7 that politics needs to be done differently. I want to congratulate Wei Mason on his third electoral victory. This campaign was not about me, it was about all the residents of Halifax who think that politics needs to be done differently. We may not have won, but we made a mark.
Producers Rachel Bauer and Brittany Kerr. Directors Rachel Bauer and Brittany Kerr. Writer Rachel Bauer. Narrator Jim Van Horn. Director of Photography Scott Barrington. Camera operator John Mann, Jack Leahy, Caitlin Campbell. Location audio Corey Sewell. Editor Sarah Byrne. Sound mix Reese Waters. Online editor Brendan Wilson. Transcriptions Tracy McGee. Integrated Describe video specialist Simone Cupid. Special thanks Jamie Melrose, Props Floral Design, Jenna Marks, Adam Burke, Megan Tansey Witten, Boyd McKenzie, Jerry West, Wei Mason, Emma Kempster, Samantha Graham, Howard Epstein, Larry Haven, Jamie Simpson, John Whittington, Edie Winnington, Patrick Moriarty, Alan Masterson, John Finley Graham, Shoshana Hayden. Graphics Andrew Antonello. Content Development Specialist Ryan Delahunty. Coordinating Producer Jennifer Johnson. Director Production Kara Nye. Director Programming Brian Perdue. VP Content Development and Programming John Melville. President and CEO David Arrington. Copyright 2021 Accessible Media Inc.